Here we go. Now I figured it out. Yeah, good. Okay. I figured it out. Yay. God bless it. Fudge. Okay, now. All right, Ronnie, good. All right, now, good. We're back on track. That's a good thing, Ronnie. Good to see you. All right, I can hear you. Oh, okay. Now, all right, now, what I want to talk about is, yeah, I want to talk about all the. Right, daggone it, daggone it. Ooh, okay, now, now, if you're going to, if a person is going to live in an RV, travel, there are things to consider. Number one thing to consider is do you want an all-in-one vehicle? Oh, okay, good. Um, if you want an RV, you got to think about economy as well as practicality. You know, even though if you, Ronnie, do you still have your motorhome or did you sell it? I was just curious. I was the if you want to do what they know van life, urban boondocking and van life, boondocking in the city, it's a lot of city driving around every night looking for a parking place. It puts a lot of city miles and a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle. And with the camper vans that are expensive and a truck to haul a truck camper or whatever it is, van builds are expensive. Building out a cargo van is expensive. All of these vehicles are expensive. And you're driving around every night is expensive. Looking for a parking place that's wear and tear on your vehicle. If I'm going to look for a truck to haul my truck camper with only 140,000 miles or less on it, I'm going to pay a lot of money for that truck. I'm going to pay a lot of money for it. An economical option to pull behind any vehicle is a small trailer. I bought a travel trailer, but it's still kind of big. I bought a travel trailer and it's still kind of big. It's got a body that's 18 and a half feet long. 18 and a half foot body is still kind of a big vehicle. And you have to have a heavy duty truck to haul it. If you're going to get a travel trailer, instead of getting something like that, well, think about like a Shasta or a Scotty. You think about vehicles to haul a truck camper. A Chevrolet 2500 series pickup truck. Oh, okay, Ronnie, that's good. Well, Ronnie, you tell me what you think on the chat here. Tell me what you think if you're going to be living in an RV. If you had to do it over again. Fundy Coast, hey. Oh, thank you, Fundy Coast. Thanks, I appreciate it. Okay, it's a Chevy 2500 with 210,000 miles on it. They want 3,000 for that. This one here, $3,000 for it. This one has 170,000 miles on it, and they want 4,500. This has 230,000 miles on it. They want 207,000 for it. This one has 157,000. It's a 1993. That's an older vehicle. 6,500. You got this one 179,000 miles on it. Basically, there's none with less than 100,000 miles on them. None of them. With these heavy duty trucks, it's actually impossible and unheard of to find one with less than 100,000 miles on it. This one has 142,000, $12,000. You can find older ones that are, this has 358,000 miles on it. Here we go. That's a work truck. These work trucks are the ones you're going to probably get cheap, you know. And it's 11,000. It's quite a bit of money for them, you know, for a heavy duty truck. Basically, the truck camper is the expensive way to do it. Let's go down to a 1,500. You know, let's go down to a 1,500. Ronnie, what do you think is a good option? You know, Ronnie, what do you think is a good option, economical option? Tell me in the chat. What do you think is a good option for RVing? You know, is truck campers and pickup trucks too unreasonably expensive? Now here is 150,000 miles for $3,500 here. A 1997 Chevy 1500. Here's one that's got a lot of miles on it. Let's see. This one has 96,000 miles on a 2004. Now let's see if this one is 96,000 miles. Is there anything wrong with it? But it didn't show the, on the video, it didn't show it lighting up, you know, it didn't show the thing lighting up. So let's see, 121,000 miles for 5,900. This is getting down to more reasonable territory. It's a half ton with 121,000, 2000 model, 1,500. Now here is, you know, a lot of them have high miles on them, 138,000, 5,500. Let's go to a Suburban. If you're going to pull a trailer. Now, this is 117,000 miles for $7,000. Here's 194,000. Here's one with 177,000 miles for 600. You know. Let's see, 97,000. That's an old Suburban, 83 Suburban, $2,000. I don't think that would be a good deal. Some of these Suburbans have quite a few miles on them. You know, 100K miles. I don't believe. 156,000 miles for 5,500. It's not a bad deal. Now here's a Tahoe. Let's look at the Tahoes. Let's see. $148,000, $15,000. It's a newer one, a 2013. You're getting down into reason. 148,000 miles. LTZ, 148,000. 170,000. So these are still expensive too, you know. But you know, 179,000 people like the Tahoes and Suburbans too. 160, yeah. Let's look at the Chevy Avalanche. Um, 114,000 miles. But there are still ones out there with low miles. They're pretty expensive, the Tahoes and Suburbans and stuff like that. They can be found, you know. You know, they can be found more easily. Here's 114,000 miles for a Chevy Avalanche. 113,000 miles for 5,500. Lexington, Kentucky. This is a good one. This is a good deal here. Chevy Avalanche, 113,000 miles, $5,500. That's a good deal there. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I thought I would ask Happy Hermit. Well, Happy Hermit, I'm just here to be able to... do you plan on long road trips? I might do long road trips in the future. I may. The used vehicle market has gone insane. I prefer motorhomes, Ronnie says. Well, yeah, motorhomes are a good deal, you know, I think. They lose their value. They have a low resale value. The value goes down on motorhomes. Class C motorhomes especially, so you can get a good deal on one. Just these heavy-duty trucks. This truck here is a good deal. Okay. Now you got to think about a small economical camper. You see, a small camper. Let's see. You know, some of these campers, people in today's world are going to push you to get bigger campers. Now this camper is 4,500. I really do like the vintage campers. That's a nice little camper there. My camper, I'll do a tour of my trailer. What do you guys think about pull behind campers? Let's see. I'll show you guys. Here's my truck camper I'm working on. The big camper, I'm doing some reframing work. It's a big 11-foot truck camper. Here's my trailer. There's my travel trailer I bought. The body of it and the floor space in this trailer is maybe 18 and a half feet from the bottom here to the bottom back here on the inside. A little over 18 feet on the inside. 18 feet of walking space. We have dual axle. It's a tandem axle in the trailer. It's 1976. It's called it's made by Champion Home Builders. Champion Home Builders built it, and they had a line called the Woodsman. It has a roof AC that works in it. The roof AC wasn't plugged up, but I plugged in the roof AC and I got it going. Here it is. The gross vehicle weight rating is 7,000 pounds. The camper weighs about 4,000 pounds. There's the front of it, the Woodsman. Very hard to find in these newer Woodsmans. I haven't found. There's a roof of it, and the roof of this camper is a one-piece aluminum roof on there. It's one big piece. It's not several pieces. There's a piece here, a couple of places I need to fix, but basically it's got a working AC unit on there, and that makes it a good thing. There's the front of it, and there's my truck camper. So yeah, it had all this really old food in the closet cabinet. You can see. Last registered for the road in 1993. I'm waiting on the title to come through the mail. I transferred it at the courthouse, so that's a good thing. So here's a front door and a back door. This trailer has a back door in it, so it's a 2-door model. This option here, it needs some, that they tore out the bathroom. It needs a floor put in it. That's I've cleaned out that junk that was in here. You got quite a bit of space in here. I got the electric works, and I was thinking of maybe doing a Murphy bed that folds up back here. A Murphy bed. And the kitchen countertops, it's got most of the plumbing. I just need to rebuild that in there, but it may seem worse than it is, but there's a living space. I just have to put the kitchen countertop back in there. But basically a nice working AC unit. Oh, Joni, did Joni sell the car and truck? I thought they had 2 vehicles and 4 RVs already. I've done a lot of trading around, Happy Hermit. My dad had a camper when we were growing up. Oh, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, right now it's a little insane, but I've got 2 truck campers and a trailer and a pickup truck, and then I have a car to drive, of course. I need to get rid of some of these vehicles. I know I do. I need to get rid of some of these vehicles. I don't need all these vehicles for sure. But, I'm trying to think, and it's just the concept of economy, The economy, the thing of economy. You got to get into a vehicle that's small to be able to move around and to be able to do stuff. People push you into bigger campers. Personally, I like these little Scotties and Shastas and stuff like that. Maybe that's a little better, a Shasta or a Scotty or something like that. Let's look at this. Here's a 1968 Shasta. Maybe I'll sell the trailer I got and get a little Shasta like that. Maybe I'll get rid of the truck campers too. A big camper. You got to think about what you're able to pull, what you're able to pull with your truck. You've got to think of that. I mean, this one's $6,900. These Shastas cost a lot of money. They're classic, But what I was going to say is a good thing about a travel trailer, you can pull it with anything. That's a good thing about a pull behind. You got to think about practicality. Heavy duty trucks, 3/4 ton and 1 ton trucks are expensive. You're going to be spending, you can keep one and get a good deal on a travel trailer, on a truck. You can get a good deal on a truck to pull a camper. You can get a good deal on a truck to pull a camper or haul a truck camper. But it's going to be a lot of money. And if you're just going to drive around looking for a parking place every night in the city, you're going to wear out your vehicle. The point is get a vehicle and hang on to it. Let's look up motorhomes. Now let's look up motorhomes. Now you get a 2001 motorhome. Here, look at this. This is a Tiffin Allegro motorhome. That's a nice one. I actually like this one. Still runs. It's a nice looking one. Hey, look at that. It's a nice looking motorhome. $1,500. I bet it's got something wrong with it. But $5,000 for a cruiser RV. Let's look at this. I mean, this is cheaper than a pickup truck for a truck camper. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. See, that's a big motorhome. That's big enough. That's a good deal. That's actually the best deal for a Class C. If you're looking for something to live in, that's really the best one to travel in, boondocking or whatever. It's not good for boondocking, but it's a 1984. This is a Class B camper van like some people drive, and I'm telling you, 1984, and it's $8,500. Those are expensive. They're not a good deal for the money. I mean, they're great, but, building out a van is going to be a lot of work. Building out a van is going to be a lot of work. Van building is a lot of work. If you want something small, here's something small. Basically, what you have to think about, how much you're going to drive your vehicle, compared with how much your vehicle costs. It's a lot of stuff, maybe not so much money for stuff. A funny coast, no, I sold the boat. I realize I'm not going to go out on the water anytime soon, so there's no point. And main thing is, you asked me what's wrong with my car and truck, Happy Hermit. So main thing about my truck is that my truck is old and worn out. It's just it runs and stuff, but it's a worn out truck with a lot of miles on it. And someday I would like to be able to get a better vehicle, a better tow vehicle, a better vehicle to, not just deal with these old worn out vehicles, these old worn out vehicles, Yeah, But I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to think about the practicality like a van. You got to think of the practicality like a van. It's practical. Thank you, Fundy Coast. Thank you. The main thing is that replacing the vehicle. There's a girl that did a vehicle, vehicle, and I'm going to share this woman's video. So, I'll wait till it comes on. But basically, I wouldn't advise anyone to live in a minivan or a van that you can't stand up in. Now, this woman, the happy camper, this woman here, the happy camper, she's a little bit older, senior citizen. This lady here she lives in a fifth wheel, in the older fifth wheel in a park, an RV park. But she was living in a van for a while. She had a minivan. She lived in a minivan. And she had a minivan. Gosh, dog it. Why? 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 Why van life isn't for me and may not be for you either. Okay. Okay. This is a good video, and it's a very informative video. But why van life isn't for me and may not be for you either. Her reasons for not liking the van life is in the van, it's small. If you break down, in a parking lot, you don't have a home, you don't have any place to live. If you break down, you always having goals is a good thing. But, what if you break down? What if your vehicle breaks down? Your part, you don't have nowhere to be, you're driving around with your stuff. You don't have a bathroom. You don't have a place that's safe, to be like a home. And now this woman is living in a fifth wheel, and she's basically happy, living in the fifth wheel. So she's happy in that. You can try that out. But basically, you got to think about the fact that, you got to think about not you got to think about what you're going to use it and how you would like to live this life. You got to think about how you're going to live this way. I mean, it's a lot more sane. A lot more, economic. It's expensive to live in a park, but at the same time, do you have a good van? Do you have a good Class B camper van? Or a van that you can tolerate living in. Personally, I like anything to live in that has a bathroom and shower. I don't like to use public showers and depend on public facilities. I don't like to depend on public facilities. Now, if you can get a truck and you can depend on these old trucks with 200,000 miles on them, you can get any lightweight truck camper and stick it on the back of a truck. You can even have two trucks, but that truck camper on an old worn out truck, you can get any truck that runs for $2,000, cheap. But you got to think about the fact that your vehicles are going to break down, and there's a limit of how many trailers. How much you're going to be able to drive this vehicle before it starts breaking down. And if you have a truck with two or three hundred, if you have a truck with 200,000 or 300,000 miles on them, it's going to be a worn out vehicle. It's a truck with 200,000 miles on it. It's just on borrowed time, basically. It's a lot better to get a motorhome, a cheap motorhome. Camper vans are expensive too. Basically, whatever kind of vehicle you're driving, you got to think that it's going to break down. Whatever kind of vehicle you're driving is going to break down eventually. And you got to think about what it's going to take to replace your driving vehicle, whether it's a motorhome or whatever it is. Basically, it's not the same as just going out to the campground once in a while. This is living in it every day, driving it every single day. But basically, living in an RV and driving it around everywhere, I see you, Funny Coast. Yeah. Basically, if you're going to be driving a vehicle every day, living in it, boondocking and parking lots every day, and running around going to work every day, especially places that have laws against you boondocking. Kentucky's passed a law, saying you can't camp on the streets. Basically outlawing homeless encampments, and that basically you go to jail for being in a homeless encampment in Kentucky. So, but also, the thing about it is boondocking in parking lots in Kentucky. You can park somewhere overnight in Kentucky for 12 hours. That's the law. You can sleep in a vehicle for 12 hours, but that's it. You can't just park there and stay there. You can't just park there in a parking lot and just stay there all the time. You've got to move around. You've got to go somewhere else, you know. And driving these vehicles, you've got to move your vehicle twice a day, twice in a 24-hour period. Maybe you move it at midnight and maybe you move it at 12 noon. You know, you'd have to move it across town so they won't accuse you of camping in the same spot. Basically, what it's all about, it's just a lot of daily driving when you're boondocking in the city. If you're going to be doing the van life, urban boondocking like Elvis Travels. Hello, Mom. No, not yet. I just ate a donut. No, I don't need to do it now. Okay, it didn't. Okay, I'll take it now. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, I will. Oh, yeah. Yes, I did a few minutes ago. Yeah, they're okay. Yeah. Huh? Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, I can. Okay. They're okay. Bye. Yeah. Basically, if you're going to be driving something around every day, basically, if you're going to be driving something around every day, you know, if you're going to be driving something around all day, every day, you know, this, you've got to think about a vehicle that you're going to be driving around every day that's going to be replaceable, you know. Basically, it's not something you're going to be able to just live in and drive it forever because vehicles wear out. You got to be able to think about a cheap vehicle that you can drive and replace. That's why I thought of a truck camper, because you've got the same camper and you can put it on different trucks. When one truck breaks down, you get another truck. When one breaks down, you get another one. And when it breaks down, you get another one. And you just keep switching the trucks, you know. When you're boondocking, you switch the trucks. Do you still hang out with your friends that you used to cook and watch movies with? Well, no, Happy Hermit, not lately. We haven't hung out in a long time. He had a hip replacement and he has some health problems with his hip replacement and stuff. So we'll have to see if we're going to hang out again. Maybe we will. But yeah, he's had this pain with his health, his hip replacement he had to do. So basically, I want to get other people's opinions. So you can leave your comments in the comments below. If I shut down the stream, you can always leave your comments in the comments section below. Basically, if you're going to be boondocking and living all the time in an RV and living this RV life, you got to think about, you got to have money. You got to have enough money to replace your main tow vehicle or your RV or your tow vehicle, replace it when it wears out, you know, because it's going to wear out, you know, when you drive it every day. And that's the only thing I didn't like about a van, about a camper van. You pay a lot of money for a camper van and then you drive it and then you wear it and then you wear it out. If say you get a Sprinter van, you fix the Sprinter van, you redo it completely, build it into an RV, costs a lot of money. You drive it and you put 200,000 miles on it, right? And then now you got 200,000 miles in your van you have to start all over with and build out a whole new van. You have to start all over and build out a whole new one. Or, you know, I mean, and your typical Class B camper van, you know, typical Class B camper van is not built to be insulated in the wintertime. I've looked at those kind of vans and they're not insulated well to live in the wintertime. You have the cab, you have the wheel wells are not insulated. You have to do things to it. They're good vehicles, but they're expensive vehicles. and you have to upgrade them to live in. And then when they wear out, you're going to have to get another one. So that's the only thing I never liked about it, was having to replace your RV. Having to get a new one. It's like Dave Ramsey. I've been listening to the Dave Ramsey show, and basically the Dave Ramsey show was saying that RVs are just like, they're a depreciating asset. RVs are a depreciating asset, and you got to be able to lose that money and not notice it. Because saving up the money to buy a new RV every 5 years because your RV's broke down and it's wore out. Hey, Mike Jordan, how you doing? You know, basically, replace your RV. You have to replace your camper van every 5 years because you put a lot of miles on it driving around the city looking for a parking place. It puts a lot of miles and wear and tear on the vehicle, to do that. You got to be able to take a hit financially. And if I'm going to work and I'm going to save up and pay cash for an RV to live in, basically it's going to take 5 years or a couple of years to save up the money to buy another RV. You know what I mean? It's got to be able to hold enough value to be able to sell it with high miles on it. Basically, the problem with living in an RV and traveling in what you call van life, the van life thing is as expensive. It's an expensive vehicle. It costs a lot of money. It's an expensive vehicle. Driving it around every day like a Prius is going to wear out the vehicle, and it's going to kill the value because you're wearing it out like a Prius, driving it every day. It's a lot of wear and tear, and you got to replace that vehicle when it wears out or restore it mechanically. It's a lot of invasive work. So that's basically the thing I'm trying to get around. I've got an old vehicle. People ask me why I haven't been out on the road. And the point is, I've got a truck that's an expensive vehicle, but my truck is worn out. It needs new tires on it. It needs a tune up. It needs new tires on it. Basically, it's just an old farm truck that's just been sitting, and it's got dry rotted tires and hoses and belts and hoses on it. It's just an old beat up work truck with dry rotted tires and belts and hoses, that needs work done to it. It's not a cheap vehicle to replace. I'm saving my money, and I've been out of work for a while, and now I'm working somewhere. So I just want to. Basically, vans are great if you can afford to replace it when it wears out. But I bought a travel trailer that's a little on the big side. Maybe if I sold it and got something like this. Basically something you can pull with anything. Basically something small like this, you could boondock. You could basically take it anywhere. You could drive it anywhere. I like those because you could really take that trailer anywhere. It's a very small vehicle, and it's not like it's a camping thing. It's a small vehicle. It's small. You got to be able to take a hit. Find an expensive vehicle. Basic maintenance seems cheaper to maintain things versus buying so much stuff. Well, yeah, it is. It's cheaper to do maintenance, but I mean, eventually, it's going to get so many miles on it. Happy Hermit. It's going to get so many miles on it that it's going to be worn out mechanically. And I know my truck needs repair and maintenance, but the exhaust is off of it. Somebody put a straight pipe exhaust on it. I have to fix that. I have to fix that rider. I'm debating as to fix it or just get another one. Because when they get to the point, hey, Paul, good to see you all the way from the UK. Basically, it's just, I mean, when you drive them every day, they're going to eventually get to the point to where they're mechanically worn out. And basically, they start to just, well, yeah, exactly. Don't have three RVs. Happy Hermit, I do agree with you. I do need to sell some of this stuff. I know I do, for sure. I've got one camper down on my property, and I've got one camper up on my mom's property. So I guess I really need just one. I could take it back and forth between the two properties. I really don't need to have a camper parked down on my land. All I really do need, I don't need a camper down on my land. Well, if I do sell that trailer I bought, I can sell it and get my money out of that trailer I bought and just decide to get something like a Shasta, something like this, 67 fan. Now that's what I need. A vintage camper from the 60s that you can pull it with anything. Get rid of the truck campers, get rid of the truck campers and everything, and just have a little trailer. And you can pull it with anything, a Trailblazer or a Ford Explorer or anything, basically. Leave your opinions in the comments below. Leave your opinions in the comments below. Thank you for your opinion, Hermit. Happy Hermit. Mike Jordan, thank you for coming. I'm going to let you guys go. Goodbye.